Sudan is under attack. What do we do? Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Cardiff, make some noise! Gaza! 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 Where's Maria? Maria! Maria! Cardiff, make some noise! Abu Hussein. All right, Cardiff. What a beautiful sight. What a beautiful sight that we see. People coming out in solidarity. We've got a few speakers now. We're not going to take too much of your time, so feel free to sit down if you want. If anybody is thirsty, we have Salam Cola at the front for free. Come and help yourselves, or we'll get people to pass it around if you want a drink. Next, I would like to introduce a long-standing peace activist, an anti-war campaigner, and a member or the previous leader of Plaid Cymru. So please make some noise for Leanne Wood.
Prynawn da pawb. Mae'n braf I weld chi. It's marvellous to see so many people here today. And I'd like to start by saying diolch a da iawn. Thank you and well done to everyone who has attended these protests over the last year. Every week there have been people in Cardiff, and I've attended and seen reports of countless other vigils and gatherings right throughout Cymru. Contrary to the picture painted in the media, there is vast opposition to what the hard right, Benjamin Netanyahu, is doing. We do not stand with Israel like many UK politicians want the world to believe. And that is why these protests, rallies, vigils, gatherings are so important. They give us a voice and they help us tell the world that we want to stop the violence. We want to stop the killing of civilians, of all the women and the children, all of those babies. We want to stop our government's involvement in trading arms and providing diplomatic cover to this far-right Israeli government. And we are not anti-Semitic for taking these positions. And while many of us are speaking out against Netanyahu and his ilk, many others may agree with us, but fear speaking out because of these smears. The effect is to silence people. We will not be silenced. We will raise our voices loud, and we call on all of our governments at all levels to stop funding war crimes now. Stop trading arms with war criminals now. Stop giving public money to companies that trade in arms, and stop investing in pensions money with them now. Use your voice to demand that they do what they can to end Israeli aggression everywhere, now. Let's see a full arms embargo, now. Economic sanctions, now. And an end to all diplomatic support for Israel, now. I hope you can hear us, governments at all levels. But where does this all end? Over the last year, we've seen escalation after escalation, retaliation after retaliation. There has to be a break to this cycle. There has to be a ceasefire now. Netanyahu and his far-right government has to be stopped. But who is going to stop them? Friends of Israel have funded politicians in high places, including many on the Labour front bench. According to Declassified UK, 13 out of 25 Labour cabinet members have received funding from those lobbying on behalf of Israel. And these politicians in high places have given Netanyahu the freedom to do exactly what he wants. To quote France's Jean-Luc Mélenchon, after Lebanon and Yemen, Netanyahu is going to war with Iran. Netanyahu is plunging the entire region into total war. He has destroyed peace and the right to life for millions of people. And now the entire world is paying the price for his impunity. If we can do little else, we can expose those politicians who are funded to defend the indefensible. We can call them out and we can push for them to hold Netanyahu to account for his war crimes. They are our politicians and they should be listening to us. So let us refuse to be silent. Let us be loud. Stop the genocide, stop the wars, end imperialism, free Palestine.
Palestine! Palestine! Palestine!
All right, thank you, Leanne. Our next speaker, again, you've seen him. South Wales police are trying to stop him unsuccessfully. He's one of the voices on the Palestine marches every single week, without fail. I want to hear you shout loud for Nizo from Stand Up for Palestine.
All right, good afternoon, Cardiff, once again. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out in the numbers today. Secondly, thank you to everybody that carried the flags, that carried the missiles, that carried the effigies. It's a lot of hard work and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you. We appreciate you. And this is amazing. This is solidarity. So we know what's going on in Palestine. We know what's happening in Lebanon. We know what's happening in Yemen. We know what's happening in Syria. We know that this government is complicit. We know that hundreds of thousands of innocent people have been murdered in all of these different countries. Now, I want to announce something today that I just found out the news this morning. I'm traveling to Lebanon on Wednesday on a humanitarian mission to help the people that are affected, to help the displaced people. We've been on standby for the last week because there were no available flights, but last night we found something, and inshallah on the 9th I'll be traveling out with one of my colleagues and we'll be there for 7 days providing frontline humanitarian support. Now that's why I want to talk about the humanitarian side of the situation. We know about the death, we know about the suffering, we know about the struggles, we know about the murder, we know about the killing, the genocide. But I want to tell you some stories about the human beings that have been affected by this. My team are currently in Egypt now. Yesterday they met a family that have 7 orphans. 7 orphans, both parents were killed. The young boy, he was buried. He was put in a coffin like these effigies here. They thought he was dead. They were about to put him into the grave, in the graveyard. At the very last minute, as he was about to be buried, they realized that his finger moved and he was breathing. This was 4 months ago he was bombed, or he was in the bombing. He's now in Egypt. He's lost one eye, and the other eye he's got very bad vision. What does he need? He needs surgery. The situations that we're coming across as humanitarians all over the Middle East, because of Israel, because of weapons that are manufactured here, are things you would not wish upon your worst enemies. There are children that are having to look after their siblings because their parents are dead. And when I say children, I mean a 10-year-old girl that I met in Egypt from Gaza was looking after her 6, 3, and 2-year-old siblings because both of her parents and her uncles and her aunties died. The situation out there is catastrophic. And it's amazing that so many people are coming out and so many people are standing up. But why in the hell did the government not listen to the people? Why do they continue to arm a genocidal, murderous, terrorist state? And the key word here is terrorist. Because every single thing that Israel has done in the last 76 years of its existence have been the exact dictionary definition of terrorism and terrorists. But it seems that human life is only valued when it's not brown, when it's not black, and especially when it's not Muslim. We've seen hundreds of thousands of people affected all over the world, and our government don't bat an eyelid. It's strange. It doesn't make any sense. But luckily the people do not represent the government, and the government certainly don't represent us. We stand for humanity. We will fight for humanity. Intimidation won't work, arresting won't work, and I'll go as far as saying even if you kill us or kill me, that's not going to stop anything. We have a cause, and that cause is justice and humanity, and I speak for myself. I'm willing to put my life on the line for this cause, and nothing will stop this cause from succeeding. Palestine will be liberated. Lebanon will remain a sovereign state. Syria will be free. Yemen will be free. Sudan, Congo, Haiti, everywhere in the world will be free because of people like you, not because of mainstream politicians, not because of the Western media that lie and cover up stories and don't tell you the truth, but by individuals like yourselves, brave, caring, compassionate people who week after week, rain, snow, cold, heat, sun, are coming out and standing for a ceasefire, for an end to the genocide, and for peace. Peace is our demand, and we will not stop until there is peace all over the world. Please keep coming out, keep boycotting, keep supporting, keep speaking. Now it's not just for Palestine and Sudan. Speak for Yemen, speak for Syria, speak for Lebanon, speak for all oppressed people around the world, because the struggle is the same. All right, I'm speaking at the demonstrations. Today he is here to represent Unison Cymru, the whole unison of Wales. Make some noise for Martin Chapman.
Oh, thanks, Nizo. Just before I start, can I just say big thanks to the organisers today. It's been a fantastic day, particularly Hussein over here, who's not very well. Big up for Hussein. And Nizo, I don't know if you know, but he's one of ours from Swansea. We've been marching with him on demonstrations since he was about that high, and now he's this high. He's brilliant. Well done, Nizo, and well done everybody else. So yeah, I've been to one or two of these in Cardiff. They've always been fantastic. We've been trying to do similar things in Swansea. We've had a presence every week, and we continue to do so. But I'm here today to speak for Unison. I am the chair of Swansea City and County Unison branch. I am also on the local government executive for Britain, representing Wales. That was something I was elected to recently. And today we've got representatives here from the whole of Unison Cymru. They're on the march today, and we're speaking for those as well. So big welcome to Unison, everybody. So when I was marching just now, when we had the silent part of the march, it was very effective, and there was people sat down at the side of the march. But one person decided to take the opportunity to abuse me and abuse Unison. He said, "Unison, you're a disgrace." I actually broke the silence and had a few words back, but this is what he was trying to say. Now let's just think who Unison represents. It represents the health workers who look after him and his family when he's ill. It represents the people who pick up off the floor, the cleaners, when he drops things on the floor. It represents the care workers that go in to help his family when they need it. Yet he turns round and calls Unison a disgrace because we're fighting on the cause of Palestine. Unison is far from a disgrace. Unison is our organisation which represents us, and we should be proud that it's taken the stance to fight against this horrible occupation of Palestine. So, Unison has been very active in this campaign. I don't know if you know that last year's president is from Morrison Hospital in Swansea, and she stood and she talked on all the national events on Palestine. Today in London, we'll either have our president or our general secretary will also be speaking. We have got members up and down all the way around Britain who are trying to raise this issue constantly. We are an active branch, and I was very proud to be part of a vote last June when we had a national conference where we voted to recognise Palestine as a state. We also said that we wanted to release all the hostages, and people should realise this means the Palestinian hostages as well who are in Israel. Release those. And we also said we want a ceasefire. So we've been fighting for those positions ever since then, and we're going to up that fight, and we're going to continue to do it. Unison recognises that we have a role to play, not just because it's a morally right thing to do, but because the impetus behind the occupation, the imperialism behind it, is the same people who are making the cuts to our services and our jobs. Now I'm a lucky person because I am both a health worker and a local government worker. I work in a community mental health team as a mental health professional. So I work every day with nurses, I work with occupational therapists, healthcare support workers, and I work with social workers and care workers. And we all see every day what a horrible world we're living in here. We have to put up with huge amounts of cuts in local government, so we can't deliver the services we need to deliver. We have to put up with hospitals with waiting lists and people outside and operations that don't happen and workers under stress. We put up with that, and we keep getting told there is no money. We have got no money. We've got no money. But yesterday, our money was spent dropping bombs on Lebanon. That's where all the money is. So don't tell us that there is no money. Don't tell us this at all. We've got plenty of money and we can use it for the right things. And what we should be doing as trade unions is fighting to make sure that the money's spent on welfare, not warfare. Now, it's good that we've got unison banners here today. We've got 2 unison banners. We've got other trade unionists, but actually that's not enough. We don't have enough unions. Unions got power in society. They need to organise. Next time, we want all the unions to come out with their banners and we want them to take part in this because they've got the power to change things. There is one thing I want to say before I go, that on the 10th of this month, Stop the War Coalition has called a day of action in all the workplaces. Don't let this one go without doing anything. Everybody who's here today, go back to talk to somebody at work, tell them what it was like to be on this fantastic demonstration, tell them you're part of the majority, tell them you're going to fight for Palestine, and make sure on the 10th you take action. So when we hear it on the 11th of October, we want to hear the unions and workplaces right the way around Wales have taken action and are taking this struggle forward. So freedom for Palestine, let's keep fighting.
All right, now our next speaker needs no introduction. Our next speaker, you may have seen heckling Nigel Farage in London. Our next speaker is at every single demonstration for every single cause, fighting for people that are oppressed, people that are marginalized, and people that have had their voices shut or silenced. So please, a big, big Cardiff warm welcome for Hussein!
Hey everyone, okay, I'll be quick. There's 2 things. When we come to these marches, they're not passive. We come to unite together in solidarity, and we come to plan. We come to plan our actions, what we're going to do next. So I'm going to say 2 things that are quite important. There's one, a campaign, Justice for Corbina. You might have seen Corbina. She's a young black woman that heads a lot of these demonstrations. And the CPS and the police have tried to get her done on a terrorism charge. You might see the placards, Justice for Corbina. 6 officers came into her house in February this year for something she allegedly said in November last year. And they said, you've got to go to the Old Bailey, and they're trying to get it done for terrorism. This is part of a wider crackdown, an authoritarian crackdown on Palestine activists and pro-Palestinian demonstrators. You can see this around the UK, and you can see it in Germany as well. There was a Jewish anti-Zionist documentary filmmaker that has recently been charged for tweeting, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And this is all in the context of a rising far right within this country. A far right that was confident enough to go on the streets and enact race riots, to pull Muslims out of their cars and stab them. That is an emboldened far right. And that far right rhetoric comes straight from the top. It comes from people like Starmer and Johnson and the rest of them, legitimizing the idea that migrants and refugees are our enemy. The enemy are those that force people in food banks. The enemy are those that send weapons of mass destruction to Israel to behead children. They're our enemy. The enemies do not arrive on dinghy, they arrive on a private yacht, they arrive in a limousine. So Tommy Robinson is coming to London. He went to London and went to Trafalgar Square. 20,000 far-right scum went to Trafalgar Square last month, I think it was, or the month before. There was only about 3,000 to 5,000 of us against them. He's again calling for a far-right demonstration in the centre of London on the 26th of October. We want to get the biggest anti-fascist rally since Cable Street. Cable Street, where in London they pushed back the far-right Nazis. We want the same thing here. We want at least 50,000 people on the streets. On the streets saying no to the far right. So we're organising coaches from Cardiff to London. And we want 3 coaches 3 whole coaches that come from Cardiff. And frankly, we should be getting that. We come out on Palestine demonstrations every single Saturday. If the people that go on those demonstrations come to London, they'll have more than 150 going up to London. We need to bring the pro-Palestine demonstration to London, the Cardiff pro-Palestine demonstration. We will have a block for Palestine demonstrators on the march against Tommy Robinson. He said, Tommy Robinson, I'll finish with this, when he had 20,000 people in Trafalgar Square, he said, this is what London should look like, not a Palestinian flag in sight. So I think we should show him what the UK and London should really look like and take as many Palestinian flags as we can. And let's take some Lebanese flags, let's take some Iraqi flags, let's take some Syrian flags. But I'll tell you a flag we won't take, an Israeli flag. Because that system is genocidal, and this government that we say that we elected according to them, this democracy is enacting genocide once again, sending weapons to Israel. As people have said before, we call for a full arms embargo, but we have to do that in our numbers. They're afraid of the people on our streets. We pushed back the far right before, we pushed back the Conservatives. We need to do it again. So I want to see you all in London on the 26th of October. You can find a QR code on a Stand Up to Racism stall with a QR code to the coach. I want to see you there. We need to be in numbers, and let's get rid of the far right scum from our streets, and let's free Palestine. And not just now as well. A very important speaker, a Palestinian woman, again, has been on all of the demonstrations. The National Welsh representative for the Muslim Association of Britain, one of the coalition groups that organises the hundreds of thousands that turn up in London every single week and are doing so right now. So I want to give you a round of applause for Sumaya.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. I want to share the story of 2 teenage children who had a business plan. These 17-year-olds decided that they didn't have enough finances and wanted to set up a business and sell socks. So, being in Gaza, with very limited supplies of socks, very limited supplies of cotton altogether, they had to import them from Egypt. These socks coming from Egypt had to be financed, had to be sometimes smuggled in, had to find a way in order to get into Gaza. The 2 boys are called Hassan Abu Qamar and his friend Yusuf. They wanted to find an innovative way to get into the world of business and make a living. And so decided they would sell these socks with different designs to your ordinary mundane ones. So they made the designs and set up the socks store during their final year of high school, what we call the Tawjihi. After the Tawjihi, and according to the marks that you get, you are able to get into the university that you want in the study that you want. So while they were studying for Tawjihi, they made the socks store and they made their designs, and they put on their socks Picasso, they put Leonardo da Vinci, they put a few drawings and artwork from famous artists, and made sure that they were available, and they eventually became a hit after they were able to influence some influencers in order for them to market. I will read an excerpt of what Hassan Abu Qamar had said about his business. He was saying that the positive feedback on the quality and design of our socks from our clients made us happier than ever, encouraging us to continue as a result. We soon expanded our product line to introduce tote bags and backpacks with special designs inspired by Van Gogh, the Starry Nights and Harry Potter. With efficiencies like the ones that we had brought up, we were able to reduce the time spent working on the store and dedicated more time to school. This gave us more time to focus on our studies so that our concerns about the Tawjihi began to fade. Our store was rapidly gaining popularity and our dreams finally started to shine. Then the war struck, bringing with it a harsh new reality. We went from being students and business owners to homeless and displaced people. Our backpacks, which once carried our passions, books and dreams, now carry some worn-out clothes, the ashes of our homes, and the memories of our previous lives. Eventually, Yusuf, who is Hassan's business partner, had to leave and now found himself in Egypt. The separated business partners were once again finding themselves without the money that they wanted to make. The last thing Yusuf's backpack carried was his hope for a normal life in Gaza, a hope that had been shattered. He was forced to return to Egypt just to survive. He took with him a bag holding his last memories of his destroyed home, his lost dreams, and a ring. The ring was a gift from me. Hassan is saying this, meant to remind him of Hassan wherever he was, and even if he was martyred. Now, no one in Gaza lives in peace. My dreams have shifted from passing Tawjihi with a high GPA and becoming a successful businessman to simply living in a safer place, far away from this war. My dreams now center on seeing the end of this genocide and finding enough resources to rebuild my life. My hope is also that if I must die, to be buried whole and not beheaded or reduced to shreds by Israeli bombs. This is just one side, one glimpse of one story from one person amongst a 2 million strong population. This is not just about numbers or statistics. Behind every figure is a story, a life cut short, a family shattered, 40,000 souls lost in Gaza, 2 million dreams extinguished. And for what? For the world to look the other way. And as if destroying Gaza was not enough, Israel has begun to bomb civilians in Lebanon. More innocent lives are being taken. More families are grieving. This is what happens when the world fails to act. Impunity reigns and violence spreads. For decades, our government has spoken about peace. This is not peace. And Israel has shown again and again that it is not a partner for peace. It has rejected the idea of a Palestinian state long ago. Israel has killed any hope for a two-state solution that they keep saying that they want and lie on all platforms and media. They made clear that Palestinian lives do not matter to them. This is not about security and never has been. This is about defense. This is not about defense. It is about the power to control and occupy, and our government is complicit. Every bomb dropped on Gaza, every missile launched into Lebanon carries the fingerprints of the arms we sell, and that are sometimes made in Wales. Every day our government continues to do nothing. It becomes even more complicit in these crimes. But we are not helpless. We stand here united because we believe that every human life is worth saving, whether in Gaza, in Lebanon, or anywhere else. We stand here because we know that justice must be served, that international law must be upheld, and that Britain, our government, must be part of the justice in the same way that it was part of this genocide. Our government must stop all arms sales to Israel that fuel this violence. We in Britain must lead the world in calling for accountability and justice. Our government must end its complicity in genocide. And let me remind you that this is not just about politics, this is about people. Ordinary people like you and me, who deserve to be safe, to grow up, to live their lives. This is why we come out every week, and this is why we march. So today, as we stand with Gaza and Lebanon, let us remember that we are not powerless. Our voices matter, our actions matter. Together, we can make the world listen. We can make our government act. We will not stop until this genocide ends, until justice is done, until every child, every family can live in peace and dignity, and until Palestinian children can carry their books in their backpacks instead of scattered flesh of their parents and their siblings.
What are you doing, brother? What are you doing? We got a list of speakers. Relax yourself. All right, next up we have a Palestinian writer, an academic who has been doing poetry and all these other things and loads of stuff. So please make some noise for Sabrine Hasbroun.
Thank you, Nizu. I love that I have done poetry and all these other things. I should be a writer, but I have no words left. 1 year ago, when we started to come out on Saturdays, I don't know how many of us thought that we would be here a year after. And I don't know how many of us thought that we would see more and more and more deaths and more country involved. I can tell you that as a Palestinian, every single new image, every single new video of limbs and babies under rubble, and fathers crying, trying to get babies from under the rubble with their bare hands, and every title of Western media, and every person that says, this is not my story, that every single piece of news that comes out every single second of every single day is killing us. Palestinians in the diaspora are dying little by little every day. They have dehumanized Palestinians and Arabs, not only for 1 year, but for, as my placards say, at least 100 years. And what I wanted to say is, why are we living our dehumanization daily now? Don't think that non-Arab people are spared of that. We are all dying when we let genocide happen. They are called crime against humanity for one reason. It's because it's against all humanity. When one of us dies like that, all of us are dying like that. And one day, people who are now shopping and thinking about Christmas already, or fucking Halloween, they will wake up one day and they will realize they're already dead inside, that there is nothing left in them. I really don't want to be one of those people. I prefer to feel everything I feel right now, to the point that some days the only things that come out are tears. And I was saying, who of us expected that we would have been out again on a Saturday a year after? And then this morning, when I was preparing to go to work, I took my kefia out, and I realized that this has been in my family for at least 50 years. Palestinians have been fighting this generation after generation after generation, and we are not gonna stop. Every generation is more angry than generation before. Every generation is more hopeful than the generation before. Every generation is more powerful than generation before. We are going to liberate Palestine, and we are going to liberate the whole world through Palestine. Before I cool down, yeah. And remember one thing, this is a sentence that Professor Sunny Singh told me the last time I saw her. Justice is an ever-enlarging circle. So when we are fighting for the justice of Palestinians and for Lebanese and for Sudan and for Congo, we are fighting for the justice of everyone, everywhere, all the time. So do not think you're out here to make Palestinians a favor. You are here because we are at the beginning of a changing moment for the world. And it's better to take part now and shape it in the way we want it, rather than being imprisoned again in this whatever we have right now. So keep coming out, keep apply pressure wherever you can apply pressure. Schools, classrooms, hospitals, in the street, with your family, it doesn't matter. Make it your constant conversation, because we are gonna get there. We are gonna free Palestine. We are gonna free the world. Free Palestine.
Thank you, Sabine. Before we introduce our next speaker, who is a student from Swansea, Lebanese, with family currently in Lebanon, I'd like to remind people that next week we have the Red Line coming to Cardiff, and we need a lot of people. It's 500 meters long. So if you can come next week and bring a few people to help with that, that would be great. And potentially we might be having a special appearance. It's not confirmed, but the Palestinian ambassador will be in Cardiff next week. So hopefully he might be here as well. But next I'd like to introduce Hamza, a Lebanese student studying in Swansea.
My dear friends, I stand before you today not just as a protester, not just as an advocate, but a Lebanese son and a brother, someone far from home. I come from a small village in South Lebanon called Zipqin, surrounded by forested hills. My family works the land, growing wheat under a sun that has risen over those fields for generations. They live simply, but that simplicity carries the warmth and love that defines Lebanon. For the past 5 years, I've not been able to speak to my family. Each day, I live in fear, wondering if they had survived another night, wondering if they survived another night, if they've slept in peace, and so on. I remember days there like it was yesterday, where I was hiking with my cousins, playing on the beach, or visiting my friend up in Saida, where we drove recklessly, fearing nothing but losing our Pokemon cards. Family dinners were filled with laughter, where we'd sneak food off to my brother's plate, watching him run to our mother in an exaggerated portrayal. Those memories are the last pieces of peace that we had before everything changed. Today, those joyful times have been replaced by sleepless nights. The Israeli airstrikes do not distinguish between homes, schools, or fields. They are all targets to them. The laughter around our table has turned to silence as my family hides, fearing the next missile might be the last. The Lebanese people have faced this violence for decades. We are not terrorists. We are people who love our land. But we are treated as enemies, labeled threats, simply for being Lebanese, simply for living on the land that Israel wishes to occupy. The truth is, we are people of resilience and love. Even in the face of suffering, we rebuild, we plant, and we teach our children to hope. That is the real Lebanon, not the image painted by propaganda. Our spirit is what makes Israel afraid, because they cannot break it, no matter how much they pain the cause. What is happening in Gaza today is genocide, just as what happened in Lebanon was not defense. It was oppression. Yet, Lebanon is still here, Gaza is still here, and we are still here. To those who call us terrorists, I say, look at us. Look at my family, who work the land, who bake for the joy of others. We are not your enemies. We are human beings who will not stop fighting for justice, for freedom, or for the right to simply exist. But of course, my story is just one of many people in Lebanon right now who. Sorry, I have to. Never mind. But yeah, there are one of many people in Lebanon who will say the exact same thing, if not similar to what I have to say. We are nothing but people. Thank you for standing with us today. Let us continue to stand together for Gaza, for Lebanon, for Congo, for Sudan, for Yemen, for Syria, for everybody. We will not rest until there is freedom for us all. Thank you.
Alright guys, we are coming to the end. We've got 2 more speakers for you. Next I'd like to introduce somebody that many of you know as the flag man, who carries multiple flags of multiple nations every week, and he will be addressing you today in Welsh and English. Make some noise for David!
Pnawn da, good afternoon, salam alaikum. Sorry, I nearly got it wrong. Right, so as I have done a few times before, I'll do a bit in Welsh and then a tiny bit in English, just so you know roughly what I'm saying. So fel fi wedi gorfod gweud nifer o weithio o blaen, oedd neb yn disgwyl byddwn ni yma ar ôl blwyddyn yn gorfod aros mynd i ni amddiffyn bobl Palestina, ond ni yma. Yr unig peth da yw bod ni wedi troi mas pob wythnos. Pob tywydd, dy beth sy'n digwydd ni wedi bod yma. A yn lle beth oedd hws yn gorfod gweud yn yr Saeson cas na da Tommy Robinson, hwn beth fi'n gweld fan hyn yw beth yw Cymru, a'i raddau beth yw Prydain, ond hwn yw fy Nghymru, pob un o chi. O'r ble chi'n dod, o'r ble ma'ch teulu wedi dod o yn y lle gynta, pa grefydd sydd â chi gyd yng Nghymru i. So I just said that unlike Tommy Robinson's vileness in London, whenever it was, the mixture that we have here, this is my Wales. This is us. It's the most wonderful thing that's happened. It's possibly the only good thing that's happened with the horrors of the last year, is that we've come together as a community. It's inspired me to think that Wales can be a better place, and surely other white Western countries can follow suit and trying to be a better place. We know that the population of a lot of countries in the world don't follow their politicians, but we have to keep on coming out to do it. I'm going to swap back to Welsh and then I'll finish off. So beth sy'n eisiau cofio, mae hwn i'r bobl sy'n siopa yn Gaerdydd sy'n gallu clywed ni. Mae digon o Gymru Cymraeg yn deall beth fi'n gweud yma. Chi'n cerdded hibo pob wythnos, stopwch rhyw dro. Gofynnwch i ni beth yw'r pwrpas, pam yn ni yma, pam yn ni'n amddiffyn Palestina. Findwch mas, dewch mas y tro nesa. Os ydych chi'n dod mas pob wythnos, sgrifennwch at rhywun. Os ydych chi'n sgrifennu at rhywun pob wythnos, dewch mas eto. So a reminder to all the shoppers, everybody walking past us, who've seen us here every week for a year. Maybe you've never stopped to think why we're here. We're here to protest for the people of Palestine who are being killed minute by minute. We're here to stand up for the people of Lebanon, of Sudan, of the Congo. I've also got a Yemeni flag and a flag of Kanaki, which is a tiny place in the Pacific. We have to stand up for everyone. If you come out every week, write a letter to someone. If you write letters, come out every week. Every one of us could do something more. And my last bit of finish is to thank some people, because we've got people here who've been going out. We saw that Nizo's going out to Lebanon next week. He's been out before. Josephine in front of us is going out to Jordan, hopefully next year. Kasim has been out. We've got the Coaches to Gaza team who are urgently raising money for direct aid to families in Gaza and Palestinian refugees. Any penny you've got for any of those people, you can find them if you ask people on the marches. It will help. You will directly help families in and from Palestine. But to finish off with a thank you, because there's so many nationalities who've chosen to make Wales their home, who make my country a better country for all of us. And I'm going to try and remember some thank yous in various languages. I'm not going to promise the pronunciation is right, and I won't remember all of them. But firstly, diolch. You should all know that one by now. Thank you. Shukran. Terima kasih. Okay, I got that one okay. Obrigado. Danke, merci. Tashakul, Mamnoon, and Jakuya. Multimesh, there we go. I don't know how many other countries we've got here, but we are such a glorious mixture. We make this place a better place. I'm proud of Cardiff. I'm proud of you all representing Wales. Diolch.
We have one final performance poet who's going to be reading a poem that lists by name and year the 40+ massacres by Israel from 1947 onwards. So a warm welcome to Des Manning. Thank you.
Many thanks. It's going to be an interesting juggling act we'll get there. I hope that will be brilliant. That will make life slightly easier. So I wrote this poem exactly 10 years ago when Ken Livingstone was being witch hunted out of the Labour Party for describing Israel as a terrorist state. So this poem is called No Apologies. No apologies, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Protective Edge, 2014. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Pillar of Defense, 2012. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Returning Echo, 2012. Israel is a terrorist state. The Gaza Strip air raids, 2011. Israel is a terrorist state. The Gaza Flotilla raid, 2010. Israel is a terrorist state. Alpha Kura School, 2009. Israel is a terrorist state. The Ibrahim al-Makdana Mosque strike, 2009. Israel is a terrorist state. Kozar, 2009. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Odd Winter, 2008. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Cast Lead, 2008. Israel is a terrorist state. Beit Hanun incident, 2008. Israel is a terrorist state. Blockade of the Gaza Strip, 2007. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Autumn Clouds, 2006. Israel is a terrorist state. The shelling of Beit Hanun, 2006. Israel is a terrorist state. The Gaza beach explosion, 2006. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Summer Rains, 2006. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Days of Penitence, 2004. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Forward Shield, 2004. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Rainbow, 2004. Israel is a terrorist state. Battle of Jenin, 2002. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Defensive Shield, 2002. Israel is a terrorist state. Mohammed al-Dura incident, 2000. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Grapes of Wrath, 96. Israel is a terrorist state. Sabra and Shatila, 1982. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Peace for Galilee, 1982. Israel is a terrorist state. Beirut, 1981. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Litany, 1978. Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Spring of Youth, 73. Israel is a terrorist state. Libyan Airlines flight 114, yeah, they shoot down airlines too. Israel is a terrorist state. Libyan Airlines flight, I've done that one, sorry. Beirut Airport, 68. Israel is a terrorist state. Battle of Karama, 68. Israel is a terrorist state. Jerusalem, 67. Israel is a terrorist state. The 6-Day War. Israel is a terrorist state. Kafir Qasim massacre, 1956. Israel is a terrorist state. Suez crisis, they were there too. Israel is a terrorist state. Khalifa police station, 1956, Israel is a terrorist state. Gaza City, 56, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Olive Leaves, 55, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Volcano, 55, Israel is a terrorist state. Kuntila, 1955, Israel is a terrorist state. Khan Yunis, 55, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Black Arrow, 55, Israel is a terrorist state. The Lavron Affair, 54, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Eye for an Eye, 54, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Lion, 54, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Viper on the Track, 53, Israel is a terrorist state. Operation Vengeance and Reprisal, Israel is a terrorist state.
Kafir Massacre 53. Israel is a terrorist state. Kantura 48. Israel is a terrorist state. Ramla and Lid 48. Israel is a terrorist state. Daya Yassin. Israel is a terrorist state. Plandalet. Israel, terrorist state. Kisa 47. Israel is a terrorist state. The Nakba. Israel is a terrorist state. No apologies.
All right, wicked. Thank you, everybody, for your continued solidarity. Let's keep it up. So long as there is oppression, we're not stopping. And as I used to say, and I'm going to bring it back, we're just getting started. So remember, Monday, 5 o'clock outside the BBC, there is a vigil. And next week's Red Line will be starting at the canal, the same starting point as today, at 1 p.m. If you have red clothing or red hats, you can wear it. And again, just to reiterate, Hussam Zumla might be coming. It's not fully confirmed, but hopefully he'll be able to attend. Thank you. Keep coming out and free Palestine. If you've got contact, if you've got it at the beginning, can you go over there? Carry that. If your contact back in the field, if there's any litter around you, please pick it up as well and keep all of your belongings.